The Edmonton Oilers will have a new head coach next season. After 3 seasons behind the bench, Kris Knoblauch is out. How the firing was handled has the Oilers' general manager on the defense. CTV's Naramanisa explains why.
We just felt that we needed a different voice to lead us to where we want to get to.
Oilers general manager Stan Bowman is defending his decision to fire head coach Kris Knoblauch. Knoblauch signed a 3-year extension last season that kicks in this summer.
Difficult decision without a doubt, but it was based upon the way this entire year played out, not just small sections or just
Something
the playoffs.
Much bigger is happening behind the scenes in Edmonton. A trusted coach is suddenly gone. Superstar players are under huge pressure, and now people are starting to fear the Oilers could be heading toward complete chaos. But what scared NHL fans the most was not the firing itself. It was what this move might secretly mean for Connor McDavid's future. The Edmonton Oilers have officially fired head coach Kris Knoblauch, and the reaction across the NHL has been explosive. Many fans could not believe the decision because Knoblauch was not seen as a failed coach. In fact, he helped turn the Oilers into one of the strongest teams in hockey after taking over behind the bench. Under his leadership, Edmonton reached back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and became a serious championship contender once again. But after another painful playoff collapse this season, the organization decided a major change had to happen. The Oilers were expected to compete for the Stanley Cup again this year. With superstar players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl leading the team, fans believed this could finally be the season Edmonton reached the top. But everything fell apart after a disappointing playoff exit against the Anaheim Ducks. The loss created huge frustration across the fan base, and suddenly the pressure inside the organization became impossible to ignore. General manager Stan Bowman later explained that the team needed a new voice, but many fans online were not happy with that answer. Social media exploded almost immediately after the news broke. Some fans blamed weak defense, others blamed poor goaltending, and many people believed the Oilers front office failed to build the right roster around McDavid and Draisaitl. Because of that, many fans started calling Kris Knoblauch a scapegoat. This is not the first time Edmonton has fired a coach during the Connor McDavid era. Over the years, several coaches have already lost their jobs while the same problems continued. That is why some NHL analysts believe the Oilers are trapped in a dangerous cycle. Every time the team fails, another coach gets blamed. But fans are now starting to ask if the real issues inside the organization are much bigger than coaching. And that brings everyone to the biggest story surrounding this shocking decision, Connor McDavid. Fans across social media started panicking after Knoblauch was fired because many people believe the organization is desperate to keep McDavid happy before things become even worse. Some fans even believe the Oilers made this coaching change mainly because they are terrified of losing their superstar captain someday. And honestly, that fear may not be crazy. McDavid has spent years carrying massive expectations in Edmonton. Every season begins with Stanley Cup dreams, and every season that ends without a championship creates more disappointment. Many people believe the pressure around McDavid is now reaching a breaking point. Some fans are already saying this latest move feels like panic from the Oilers organization. What makes the situation even more emotional is that many players reportedly respected Kris Knoblauch very deeply. He was known for keeping the locker room calm during stressful moments and helping players stay focused under pressure. Several fans and analysts believe he actually did a strong job considering the problems the team faced this season. That is why his firing shocked so many people around the league. Now the Oilers face one of the most important off-seasons in franchise history. The next head coach will walk into an impossible situation. Expectations will be sky high from the very beginning. Fans do not want promises anymore. They want results. They want a Stanley Cup. And most importantly, they want proof that Connor McDavid still believes in the future of the organization. Because right now, many fans are scared. Scared that Edmonton may never fully fix its problems. Scared that another season could end in heartbreak. And most of all, scared that if things continue falling apart, Connor McDavid could one day decide that his future belongs somewhere else. The Oilers thought firing Kris Knoblauch would calm the pressure around the franchise. But instead, it may have created the biggest and most dangerous questions Edmonton has faced in years.
They announced the nominees for the Ted Lindsay Award, and your nominees are Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. You can see the numbers there for Celebrini. What a year that young man had. Almost pushed the Sharks into the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov, He is a two-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, and he is nominated once again. And then, of course, Connor McDavid, a four-time Lindsay Award winner.
Something inside the NHL just flipped overnight, and fans did not see it coming. A list was released, but one name on it changed everything. Two of the biggest stars in hockey were expected. The third name shocked players across the league. This was not a media vote. This came from the players themselves, and what they decided is now raising serious attention across the sport. The announcement came from the Ted Lindsay Award, one of the most respected honors in hockey. This award is not chosen by reporters or analysts. It is voted by NHL players. These are the same players who compete on the ice every game. Their vote reflects direct experience against opponents during the season. The finalists were officially confirmed as Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, and Macklin Celebrini. This list was reported by Reuters as a star-studded trio. The first two names followed expected patterns based on performance. The third name changed the discussion immediately. Connor McDavid's selection came after another strong season. He remained one of the top point producers in the league. His role in the Edmonton Oilers offense continued to be central. He led plays, controlled puck movement, and contributed heavily to scoring chances. McDavid has already won this award multiple times in past seasons. His inclusion matched his consistent performance record. Nikita Kucherov also secured his place based on measurable output. He ranked among the top scorers during the season. His performance included goals and assists across multiple game situations. He contributed strongly on the power play and during even strength play. Kucherov's presence on the list reflected his steady offensive production. The focus quickly shifted to the third finalist. Macklin Celebrini's inclusion introduced a different type of player into the same category. He is at an early stage in his NHL career. Despite that, his performance this season placed him in direct comparison with experienced players. His ice time, scoring contribution, and consistency across games supported his position among finalists. The reaction to this finalist list focused on how the voting reflects direct competition. Players face each other across a full season. They track speed, control, and decision-making in real time. This makes the Ted Lindsay Award different from awards decided by media members. The selection shows which players stand out during actual gameplay situations, and that distinction remains central after the announcement. Connor McDavid's performance continued to follow a consistent pattern. He remained among league leaders in assists and total points. His ability to control puck movement and create scoring opportunities stayed constant across games. His ice time remained high, and he played a central role in offensive sequences for the Edmonton Oilers. These measurable factors supported his position among finalists without deviation. Nikita Kucherov's season also aligned with statistical output. He maintained a high scoring rate and contributed across multiple game situations. His role in Tampa Bay's offense remained stable. He produced both goals and assists while maintaining efficiency during power play opportunities. His inclusion reflected sustained production across the regular season, and his numbers remain among the top in the league. Macklin Celebrini's placement introduced a different set of data points. His performance came during the early stage of his NHL career. Despite limited experience compared to the other finalists, his contributions remained consistent across games. He recorded scoring plays and maintained regular ice time against experienced opponents. This placed him in direct comparison with players who have longer careers and larger statistical records. The difference between experience levels became more visible after the announcement. McDavid and Kucherov have multiple full seasons of high-level performance. Celebrini's inclusion reflects performance within a shorter time frame. This contrast created a measurable gap in total games played, career points, and overall experience. But the voting process placed all three names in the same category. The voting method used by players places emphasis on direct impact during games. This includes puck control, offensive pressure, and the ability to influence play outcomes. Players base their decisions on real matchups rather than external analysis. This approach explains why performance during specific games can carry weight in the final selection. Reuters reporting confirmed that the finalists were selected through standard NHL Players Association voting. The report described the group as a star-studded trio, highlighting both established players and emerging talent. No irregularities or changes in voting criteria were reported. The process remained consistent with previous seasons. The timeline for the final result has not yet been released. The winner will be announced following the completion of the voting process. Until that point, the finalist list continues to draw attention due to the contrast in player experience and performance levels, and that focus has not slowed down.
Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like it was played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So, yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly, and I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers.
Silence can be louder than anything, and William Nylander just proved it in a way no one expected. After a season full of pressure and criticism, he faced the media, and instead of explaining, he gave one cold sentence that instantly spread across the NHL. No details, no emotion, just silence. And now, that silence is raising questions no one can answer. Yet, the moment happened quickly, but it changed the entire conversation around the Toronto Maple Leafs. Reporters asked William Nylander a direct question about the season. It was a normal question. Players are asked this all the time, especially after a difficult stretch. Most players respond with simple answers. They talk about effort, mistakes, or what needs to improve. Nylander did not do that. He paused, stayed calm, and gave a short answer. He said, "Something I'm going to keep to myself." That was the full response. He did not add anything else. He did not explain what he meant. He did not go into details about the team or the season. The interview moved on, but the moment did not. This response quickly became a major talking point across hockey media. According to Sportsnet, Nylander chose not to explain where the season went wrong. The report confirmed that he declined to share his thoughts publicly when asked directly. That choice stood out immediately. Players usually give structured answers in these situations. They often say the team needs to be better or that small mistakes made a big difference. These answers are common. They are expected. Nylander's response did not follow that pattern. It was short, it was controlled, and it gave nothing away. Another report from Toronto Sun also highlighted this moment. The article explained that Nylander clearly has opinions about the season, but decided not to share them. The focus was not on what he said, but on what he chose not to say. That made the moment different. The Maple Leafs have been under heavy pressure. Expectations were high throughout the season. Media coverage has been constant. Players have faced repeated questions about performance, effort, and results. Nylander has been part of that environment. His response came during that pressure. It did not include frustration or anger. His tone stayed neutral. His words stayed limited. But the message was still clear. He was not going to explain his thoughts. That decision created a strong reaction. The reaction to that moment grew quickly, and the focus shifted from the team's performance to Nylander's response itself. Media coverage continued to highlight the same quote. The sentence, "Something I'm going to keep to myself," was repeated across broadcasts and articles. It became the main reference point in discussions about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This level of attention did not come from length or detail. It came from what was missing. According to Sportsnet, Nylander has often handled media in a controlled and private way. He does not regularly share deep internal thoughts in interviews. That pattern helps explain the response, but it does not fully remove the impact of the moment because the situation was different. The question was about a full season. It came during a period when the team was under strong public evaluation. In these moments, players are expected to give insight, even if it is limited. Nylander chose not to provide that insight. That choice became the story. Coverage from Toronto Sun emphasized that Nylander had thoughts on the season but decided not to reveal them. The article did not include any further explanation from him. The original quote remained the only direct comment. No follow-up changed that. Nylander did not expand on his answer in later interviews. He did not clarify what he meant. The single sentence remained unchanged. That consistency kept the focus on the original moment. The absence of detail continued to drive attention. In most interviews, players respond with repeated phrases. They talk about improving, learning, or moving forward. These responses create a predictable pattern. Nylander's response did not fit that pattern. It stood apart because it avoided those phrases completely. That difference increased its visibility. The quote continued to appear in headlines and discussions. Analysts referenced it when talking about the team. The response became part of a larger conversation about media interaction and player communication. But the content of the response never changed. It stayed as one sentence, delivered once with no addition. That is what kept the moment active in coverage. A single answer, without detail, without expansion, and without revision, remained at the center of attention, and even as the discussion grew, the original message stayed exactly the same. Connor McDavid just hit a number that changes how the NHL looks at him forever. One goal made history, but what happened seconds later shocked everyone watching. The crowd reacted, the bench stood up, and the league took notice. This was not just another milestone. Something bigger was unfolding on the ice, and the full impact was was only starting to become clear. Connor McDavid entered the game already, leading as one of the top scorers in the NHL. During the second period, he received the puck in open space and completed a scoring play that marked his 400th career goal. Official NHL records confirm that reaching 400 goals places a player into a rare group. Fewer than 100 players in league history have reached this number, and the pace at which McDavid achieved it drew immediate attention. The goal came during even strength play. There was no power play advantage. Game reports confirm that the Oilers were controlling possession during that shift. McDavid moved through the neutral zone, with speed entered the offensive zone, and finished the play with a clean shot past the goaltender. The moment was quickly confirmed by league tracking systems, and the broadcast displayed the milestone as it happened, but the sequence did not stop there. Shortly after scoring his 400th goal, McDavid scored again. This second goal became number 401. It happened in the same game within a short span of time. Reuters reported Connor McDavid hit the 400-goal milestone and added another as the Oilers secured the win. That update confirmed both goals as part of a single performance, and it shifted the focus from just the milestone to the speed at which he moved beyond it. The Oilers continued to apply offensive pressure after the goals. McDavid remained active in play, contributing to multiple scoring chances. Game summaries show that he recorded more than just goals, as he remained involved in puck movement and offensive setups. His presence on the ice continued to affect the pace of the game, and opposing defenders were forced to adjust their positioning. Career data shows that McDavid has reached every major scoring milestone at a fast rate. Since entering the NHL in 2015, he has consistently produced high numbers each season. He reached 100 goals, then 200, and then 300 in fewer games than many players in the modern era. The 400 goal mark follows the same pattern, and that consistency has been tracked across official league statistics, but this latest moment added a new level to the discussion. McDavid's current total places him among the top active goal scorers in the NHL. Updated league data shows that his scoring rate remains steady across seasons. He has not shown long scoring gaps, and game logs confirm consistent production year after year. This pattern has been a key factor in how quickly he reached 400 goals, and it continues to shape how teams prepare to face him. The Oilers system relies heavily on speed and puck control. McDavid plays a central role in that structure. In the milestone game, his goals follow the same pattern seen throughout his career. He carried the puck through the neutral zone, created space, and finished plays under pressure. Shot data from the game confirms that both goals came from high probability scoring areas, which reflects his ability to position himself effectively during offensive plays. Defensive matchups against McDavid often involve top defensive pairings. Opposing teams attempt to limit his time with the puck by closing gaps early and applying pressure in the neutral zone. Despite these efforts, recent game reports show that he continues to generate scoring chances at a high rate. His speed allows him to move past defenders quickly, and this factor was visible again during the milestone performance. Statistical comparisons place McDavid among the fastest players to reach 400 goals in the salary cap era. Historical data shows that many players who reach this mark go on to surpass 500 goals. Based on current scoring trends and age-related performance models, projections indicate that he remains on pace for higher milestones if production continues at the same level, and that projection has been included in multiple reports following the game. The timing of the milestone also aligns with the later stage of the regular season. Teams are competing for playoff positions, and performance during this period carries added importance. Game results show that the Oilers secured a win during the milestone match, linking individual achievement with team success. This connection has been noted in post-game coverage, as McDavid's scoring directly contributed to the outcome. Broadcast footage confirmed the exact moments of both goals. Commentators acknowledged the milestone in real time, and replays were shown across multiple angles. The sequence of goal number 400, followed quickly by 401, remained a central focus in coverage. This rapid progression changed how the event was viewed, shifting it from a single milestone to a broader performance moment that continued to draw attention after the game ended.
Ottawa Senators fans think they know what the Leafs lacked the most on the ice as they were chanting, "You need Marner. You need Marner," on the weekend. The question is, what do you think the Leafs actually need the most? A right winger for Austin Matthews, a right shot puck-moving D-man, or a power play QB, or perhaps a second-line center? There's a lot of options there, Cheryl.
They need a right winger for Austin Matthews. Ottawa fans know exactly what the Leafs need. Look, Matthews went from 69 goals to would have been over 40 last year if it had stayed healthy for all 82 games, and now to 27 goals this year. They need somebody to set him up.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are facing a moment that could change everything. Behind the scenes, pressure is building around one of their biggest stars, Mitch Marner. His name is now at the center of growing trade talk, fueled by contract weight and playoff results. At the same time, concerns around team form and key player performance are rising, and what happens next could reshape the entire franchise. The discussion around Mitch Marner has intensified as the Toronto Maple Leafs move closer to the playoffs. Marner is one of the highest paid players on the team, with a contract valued at approximately $10.9 million per season. That number places